Hello and welcome back to the Going for Three podcast, episode 17. As always, my name is Percy Thomas, also known as PTP, and with me as always, we have Chris Collins, aka Hot Takes Collins, and Tony Farr, also known as G. How we doing, fellas?
Doing good,
You
man.
know, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. You know, life just keeps on going. Another day, another Laker disappointment.
I was gonna. I knew that's what it was. Lakers.
It's to
Chris-
the point. I'm not. Listen, I'm not promoting gambling, but I put a parlay in today, and I took the Jazz at -4, and I guarantee you, just the way that the Lakers do me, I guarantee you they're gonna win tonight, and they're just gonna fuck me. They're gonna fuck my bet. The one time that I don't bet for them.
Is LeBron playing?
It was questionable.
Yeah. I feel like most of the time he's been questionable this year. He always ends up playing at some point.
Well,
I feel like they have a good record against the Jazz usually, but still.
He said his knee injury is basically the same as his ankle injury. Like extended rest is the only thing that's going to heal it, and he's not in that mode right now. So it might just be where he plays through it. Maybe takes a game off here and there, and just powers through to see what happens.
We'll make a LeBron Curry if he play straight jump shots. Straight laners.
Yeah.
But yeah. So had a pretty stacked episode. As most of you guys know, the Super Bowl went down this past week, and pretty exciting if you ask me. We had the Los Angeles Rams going against the Cincinnati Bengals. And most people should know by now, the Los Angeles Rams came out with the victory. Start with G first. Like what's your thoughts on the game? Any like surprising things or?
I'm. It's hard to say because, I'm fine with the outcome. I would have preferred Bengals win, and they definitely had a chance. If Burrow maybe has like an extra half second on that fourth down, he might complete the pass. We might be talking about something different. But it's a good story either way. Stafford deserves it. He's got his ring. McVay, they all deserve it. Was it the most exciting game? No. But that's to be expected when, you've got a really good defense and a really good pass rush against, I would say, a high-powered offense, but an iffy offensive line. I wasn't. I really didn't think it would be like 40-35 or anything like that. But it's. I would have been fine either way. The people you expected to shine in the game did. Questionable call, not having Mixon in on fourth down. Okay, sure, whatever. We can. But I really don't have anything. I don't really have anything negative to say. I'm not gonna buy into the stupid narratives. I'm not gonna buy into the whole lie. Relax, PTP. I'm not going there. I'm not going to get baited into this whole Lions bullshit that's out there. I'm tired of hearing it. Let it go. People should just be happy for Matt. He got his ring. He deserves it. We can go into the Hall of Fame shit in a little while. Other than that,
The line stuff is kind of just wild to me, though.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm honestly, come on. People need to get over it. It's come on.
He was there long enough for it to be a thing where he should have been able to leave and people not really be like just so hard pressed about it when everybody knows like the reasons as to why it didn't work. Excelling organization and all the other stuff is just it's taken away from the Rams, in my opinion. It's taken away from what they did for 60 minutes of gameplay. But,
Yeah.
Chris?
You know, I didn't think that I would disagree with so much that Graham said off rip, but it's like I disagree with almost everything you said on so many levels. One, fuck the Bengals. You know, that's how I feel. Joe is nice. Jamar is nice. The team is nice, but fuck them as a whole. Eli Apple, listen, come on now. I'm supposed to root for that? Hell no. That's one. Two, listen. I thought the game was entertaining. Yes, it wasn't a Patriots Eagles Super Bowl where the offense is just flying all over the place, but it also wasn't the Rams and Patriots. You know, there was some good plays, some good offense here and there. You want to talk about if Burrow gets a little bit of extra time, we may be talking about something else. What about if they call that blatant offensive pass interference where T. Higgins slings Jalen Ramsey by the face mask to the ground?
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, but at the end of the game, that fourth and one play, I'm just talking about that 4th and 1 and Mixon not being Pirani being in there instead of Mixon, where they could have run.
But at the same point in time, I could argue that if they don't get a gimme by the refs, and if Odell doesn't get hurt, the game won't be close. They got a lot more breaks than the Rams did.
Perhaps
there's that. Also, Matthew Stafford's not a Hall of Famer right now. I'm sorry. He's had a all-time great playoff run. But guess what? Guess who else had an all-time great playoff run to a Super Bowl? Who actually has, I'm pretty sure, higher stats or better stats, like more touchdowns, more yards, probably than Matthew Stafford.
You talking about Ryan?
You know what I'm talking about. Matt Ryan hasn't run a Super Bowl.
About Foles?
No. Joe Flacco. Is Joe Flacco a Hall of Famer?
Nope.
He was well on his way after that run, and then he put a 180. And I'm not saying Matt's going to do that. What I'm saying, I got to see more, and I would like for him to at least get into the higher MVP talks, maybe being the best quarterback in the league or in the conversation for that for any given year.
I'm looking at it in terms of people talking about. I understand where people are going, like asking the question is, now that he has a ring, is he a Hall of Famer?
No, I get that, but for me, when I talk about Hall of Fame, when I think about players that are Hall of Fame, I always look, especially not even just football, just like were you at any point in your career in the conversation for being either the best in the league or the best in your position, like top 3, maybe top 5? Were you ever in that conversation? That matters to me, and that's also like. That's I feel like you can use that sometimes over like MVPs because sometimes context a lot of times matters for that as well, although those matter too. But it's like, were you ever the best or in the conversation for the best during your time?
That's fair, but what I'm saying is in obviously people are going to bring that up and they're going to talk about it. The only reason the only reason I'm going to say is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer. I'm going to say yes because I'm assuming he's going to play 4 to 5 more years, isn't going to stink. And then what?
We can't obviously assume that. That's down the line. We're talking about right now.
At that point, it's wishful thinking to think that, for one, he'll have this same Rams team because Aaron Donald isn't a young pup. Cooper Kupp, if they can't pay him, will walk. Jalen Ramsey is probably going to make more bread, or is going to be encouraged to more bread, inclined to more bread in the future. Might not be
exactly. So like Aaron Donald is a Hall of Famer right now. He could retire yesterday, first ballot. Von Miller, Hall of Famer, retire yesterday. In. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's Matthew Stafford right now. To me, it's not a Hall of Famer. He can get there.
Yeah,
he definitely can. But right now, I would say he's in the same category to me as like a Matt Ryan. Honestly,
I can see that. I mean, To use it like a
No,
to use like a basketball reference though, I would see it as like, for
like
example,
Chris Webber.
Yeah,
But Chris Webber
yeah.
ended up getting in finally, but you know,
It takes a lot of years. Or even like say like Chris Middleton now, right? Like the Bucks won the championship, more or less. Honest, if he was to retire right now, would probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
yeah,
Middleton, it would take him a few years because, granted, he's
that's
good.
that's a fair comparison because
He's good, but it's not. He hasn't done that much yet to be warranted with that honor first ballot.
But against the Nets and the Suns, he was dropping like 25 plus. So it's a very good comparison with Matt, whereas like, he's a lot of times he's not really considered top 3 to 5 at his position as far as shooting guard, but he's still good. He's had elite moments in the postseason.
Yeah.
He just has to show more. But also being a part of a great team, being a part of continually great teams will also vault him up as well. So that's why if Stafford can continue to be a part of this and they can continue to, be in that conversation with him playing at the elite level, he can be in the conversation.
Yeah. Well, the Middleton thing's a fair comparison, except for the fact the criteria is different.
Oh, of course it is, but I mean they're two different sports.
But
because the NBA includes
probably
than
anything.
Because it includes college, includes Olympics.
But he wasn't nothing in college, so I mean that don't really.
Does he have any Olympic medals? That's gotta count.
I mean it don't count that much. Like if you went shit in the NBA, they're not just gonna give it to you because you was.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but
like players like that, like there's plenty of players that were like, who was somebody that was on the who did they put on the Olympic team this year? Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson. That's
like Keldon Johnson has a gold medal. He's still very young, obviously, but it's just like that's not going to be the difference. Like, he's going to have a Hall of Fame career to get there. You know what I mean? It only vaults you higher, but it doesn't create the case. Like Melo has a Hall of Fame in NBA career. It just helps that he also went at the college level and he also has several. Yeah, but like he was always without those, he's still going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Or even like say like even like another case like a Richard Jefferson, more or less. Like the championship, I think he won at Arizona when he played. I don't know if he played for any like Olympic teams, but take him probably like he would be in that boat of like a Middleton. And in turn, if you compare it to football, like a Stafford, it would take him a few more years to get in, but he's a good player. It's just not one that you point out and be like, if he don't make it in before everybody else, it's travesty. It's not one of those.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I don't know. I like the game, and like I said, I like the Bengals. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know the entire playoff year. I wasn't hating on the Bengals. I didn't hate on the. No, I'm really trying to be serious. I wasn't hating on the Bengals because I mean there was a time that they were in the playoffs before they beat the Chiefs, and my concerns were still the same.
Yeah,
against the Raiders, against the Titans, I was like, I don't see how you're gonna win a game with a bad offensive line. I just don't see how it could happen, and it was the same concern every game. I mean,
the track record is very much there because you can go back.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost unprecedented the route that they had to get here. Like they almost seem like a team of destiny because that just don't happen. You got a bad line, that just it ain't gonna work. So.
They make it better that they started wrestling Aaron Donald's feathers in the first half.
No, it didn't. But I did anticipate him getting stronger throughout the game anyway, just because it's one of those things where it's kind of like the same between like a receiver versus a corner. You know what I mean? Like you're on the as an offensive lineman in pass protection, you're on the defensive. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to guess where they're trying to go to get there first, beat them to the spot. Same thing with like a corner. Like you're trying to beat them to whatever spot or anticipate where they're going. So it's not like you're not really dictating the movement. So like they're always at the, I guess, advantage unless you're getting help. And they did a good job of, putting Aaron Donald in one-on-one situations and things like that. On that last play, Aaron Donald actually wasn't in one-on-one coverage. The center just completely shit the bed. He literally just hit him with a speed move to the right, and the center. Well, I can't even say if I can't even say maybe it's not the center's fault. Maybe it's the other guy's fault for not cutting that angle off and then not making Aaron Donald go inside to get that double help from the center. Either way,
yeah, because I don't think they really pushed him middle for like the rotation that they had been doing for the past 2 quarters to hit. In the third quarter, I mean, they started like finding loopholes, like Von Miller and
But yeah, man, that's another thing though. Yeah, they were putting him and Von Miller on the same side, so then it's like, okay, if that lineman did try to push him to the middle to go to the double team, I feel like then you putting Von in a favorable matchup, and he has 2 sacks for the game too.
It's like now Von at the B line. So overall, like the Bengals had good intentions when it came to trying to stop the pass rush, but I mean, it's you got 2 Hall of Fame rushers on the line. Like at a certain point, you're gonna get hit. Like you're gonna have to take that line.
I mean, shit. I would say. I mean, to me, their entire game plan was to avoid it. They knew they couldn't stop it. That's why their entire game plan was, hey, get the ball out quick because we cannot protect you.
It was a lot of chances, more or less like how it was in the Chiefs game, where it was like a lot of like get them in open space on the ball, let them rock. So,
and the only difference is that Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald and Chris Jones is Chris Jones. Aaron Donald ain't letting you Aaron Donald get a hand on you. You're not going nowhere.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Like the way it was with that running back, he got a hand on him, he wrapped around him, and he pulled him down with the guard.
Facts.
Certain things you can't teach. Damn. It's like at that point too, that might have been also a showing point too. Like, you know, these guys, if he wants to tackle you, you gonna touch that turf. You know, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Very much so.
And then offensively, I mean, obviously, like what I was thinking more or less when the game was coming about, I had no doubt that, you know, Kupp was going to do Kupp-like things. They really didn't run the ball as much as I thought they would.
The Rams or the Bengals?
The Rams.
Well, the Rams couldn't. I mean, they couldn't run the ball. Honestly, I think Cam Akers had one good run on that last drive.
It's like Hubbard was sniffing some stuff out. Like I liked how Hubbard played in that game for sure. Logan Wilson like put on the island too, so that didn't help them. They didn't help their case either.
They weren't running with any juice though, to be honest, bro. They really weren't. Like none of the running backs to me looked like they had any burst. Even like I remember it was an outside run with Sony Michel, and it literally looks like he has the sideline. He just had no burst. It's like, bro, like, are you gonna take the handoff with some conviction? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like it seemed like they didn't like. I'm not gonna say they didn't want to run, but man, they did not impose it enough. So it's like,
yeah.
But I will give Sean McVay a little credit for sticking to it at times, just to keep the defense honest sometimes, because he definitely could have just abandoned it straight up off rip.
Yeah, sure, a little clock, you know.
Yeah. Now the Bengals, I think they should have ran more. That's who I think should have.
Mixon had a few plays where, you know, he cut them for a good 10, maybe like on the good 5 to 10 yards. And down the stretch, he was running. It seemed down the stretch he was running a little bit harder, but by that time it's like you're on the back end now. Like they done scored a few times.
I mean, true, but like they were always within a touchdown, so it's like you can still run the ball as long as it's not that last like possession where you're trying to drive all the way down the field. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know. Like to me, it was working. Joe Mixon's a very good running back. He can run and catch. Obviously, that's why we were kind of questioning why he wasn't there on that last possession.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie.
But it's
P. Ryan doesn't catch that. Mixon definitely at least makes an attempt. The ball that got to P. Ryan was definitely catchable, and it kind of confused me that he didn't.
I don't want to say it was catchable just because, like, I mean, yeah, like if he's just standing still from where he was, and then he throws the ball to that like short point, maybe. But it's like he's running a route, and then he has to turn around, and then he sees that Joe like gets hit like while he's throwing. Like it's hard to adjust when you know momentum is going somewhere else or not exactly to where the ball is. Well, but then again, it's like that's kind of on Zach Taylor. That's his name, the coach's name.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, you have what 3 chances to get 1 yard. Yeah. I mean, the Rams defense is nice, but I mean, 1 yard, y'all get paid too.
Yeah, at that point, like, that's why, like, not to say that it's in the same boat, but this is kind of in like Seahawks territory where you don't run the ball on the goal line. Like with Marshawn Lynch in your backfield, it's like you have Mixon literally most part of the game was doing his part like consistently. You
Did
just
they
got him on
pass
the
3 straight
sideline.
times?
Yeah, I think they did 3 straight passes.
Yeah.
That's a bad decision.
Yeah. Like with a guy like that, like even like when he went in overtime with the Chiefs, like he ran the ball. It's like I don't see how you stray away from that when you get like I understand, like I said, like, I understand Aaron Donald and Von Miller, but still bust a
But they're
hole
pass
open.
rushers, right?
You can bust a hole open. They're not gonna tackle him on every single dive and out and plus you do like mix it up.
But I will say, what's his name? What's the big boy name on the Rams?
Sean Robinson.
When they had him in,
He clogged shit.
the running was not working.
And that also triggered me.
Working.
Like Chris Collinsworth literally said it every single time.
Because it was true.
It's like whenever 94 is on the field, remind me to not run the ball. And every single time he lined up in the nose position, he ran the damn ball. You gotta like that just goes back to like, just being, that was their first time being on that stage. Hopefully he's gonna learn.
But at the same point in time, you gotta, he's not Aaron Donald or Vaughn. Like you gotta prove to me first that you can stop or I just say no, we're not gonna run the ball when he in the game. You know what I mean? Like you gonna have to show me. I mean, he showed him.
Yeah, like that first play, he proved it. Then the next time, he did it again. Third time, why are you still doing it? Like that doesn't.
Because
he was able to play in spurts, which is why he wreaked so much havoc. Played in spurts. Like he would play for a possession, be out for like 4, and then they brought him back in just to guess if they were gonna run the ball again, and then another spurt.
Because you can't just abandon the run just because he's getting off on you. I can't just not pass the ball because Aaron Donald is teeing off on me. You know what I mean? Like I still have to try to run some semblance of our offense. You know what I mean? And running is supposed to be the safe, a safe route.
Yeah.
But yeah. Fuck Eli Apple. The moral of the story.
Yeah, shout out to the rest of the league though, because they were cooking Eli Apple after that.
Cooking him good, cooking him like he deserves.
Hey, his college teammates was cooking him. CeeDee Lamb cooked him. Lamar,
Hollywood Brown and Lamar. And
it was
Michael Thomas, Tyreek, Hardman. Great time. Great thing to see.
The fact that they showed him the ring was crazy. I'm like maybe one day you'll get one of these. Overall,
one thing, he don't need to be on the Bengals next year. I know that.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm definitely drafting a corner, signing a corner, one of the two. I'm doing something.
Yeah, I got to sign a corner. They first 2 draft picks need to be linemen.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They didn't have Reef either. Like now that I think about it, like I think Reef might have been like the only lineman they had hurt. Maybe. But even then, they look like they definitely a lot more holes they need to fill. But both teams I can see both teams definitely being like in the mix next year.
Maybe. I don't know. The Bengals they're gonna have to show me again because they lost a lot of games this year. I mean, they lost 8 games in the regular season, and they could have easily lost 10 or 11. Because they won a lot of them on the field goals because the kicker was going crazy. So it could have easily been something else.
Yeah,
so they're gonna have to show me. I mean, I expect the Rams as long as Aaron Donald is there with Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed they lose at least 2 pieces because I'm pretty sure Whitworth is done because he's 40.
Yeah, he's out. He's
and Weddle's going back into the crib. So
yeah, but I mean, who was
that place?
Who was he covering for?
I think he's covering for Taylor Rapp.
What was his injury?
Rapp had a concussion, didn't he?
Well, if that's the case, then he'll be back. Then so he'll be all right without Weddle.
I think he even played in the Super Bowl, possibly.
Yeah, Whitworth will hurt though. I mean, he was one of the highest rated offensive linemen in the league. So I mean, that will hurt them. But
yeah,
I'm sure they'll address it. I'm sure. So
with either a signing or once again, they they might just draft one because I mean there is a decent amount of linemen in this class coming up that could potentially fall to where they're at, so they could definitely plug that hole immediately.
Facts, and it's not. They don't have. I don't think they have that many needs as far as like glaring ones. So like they could definitely.
Well, yeah, corner and a couple of linemen for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what their cap situation is, but
well, I mean, my cap wise, they really don't have any money. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll be getting, their playmakers back. Well, they'll be getting one playmaker back, I'm sure, and then Odell will probably stay. I'm assuming, and he'll be back around November or December.
And like if anything, they'll probably let. I can see them letting Von walk or Von going back to Denver.
Yeah, I keep saying that. I don't see it. There's in my mind, there's no way the Rams let Von Miller walk. I'm pretty sure he had 9. I'm pretty sure he had 9 sacks in 8 weeks, and like he was number 1 in like quarterback pressures in his time in the like on the Rams during that time. He was like the number 1. Like he was phenomenal for them.
Yeah,
it does. Like in my mind, it doesn't make any sense to let him walk.
Yeah, but also
I would sign him to like a 2-year deal. Honestly, 2 to 3 year deal. I would sign him immediately.
It's just that the Rams linebacking core has just been like I feel like they've always had like a plug and play mentality. It always works out for them. Like they were able to go from like Ebucam and I forget who else was the other linebacker they had when they first made it.
They still have Ogletree then? They have Ogletree then?
I think they had Ogletree, yeah. Like they went from that to case like Leonard Floyd and on like I feel like even with Ernest Jones, like that's a 6th-round pick. Like 6th-round pick causing damage. Like hey, at that point, as long as they like the Rams have good scouts, so if they were to let Von walk, they could probably find somebody sneaking out the bottom half.
I mean, let's not minimize who we're talking about now. He played like Bond. Bond is not just some regular dude like that, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but Von's solid.
He's more. He played more than solid. He played elite. You don't it's no guarantee that you're gonna find that right especially like when he's standing right in front of you. If he wants to stay, it should be one of their priorities to bring him back. Honestly.
Yeah, that's really that's mainly what it probably depends on too. If he really wants to like if Aaron Donald's really talking about running it back, I have to bring back at least Odell and Von. Gonna have to at least come back.
I think Aaron Donald's kind of capping on the retirement thing personally, but that's just me.
He's been drinking, but speaking of Aaron Donald,
I don't think he was. I don't think the chances were too high that he was going to retire. Now he might have considered it, but ultimately, I just don't. I couldn't have seen it happening.
Would have been a crazy sight, though.
Yeah.
He was just like, I feel like if they did lose, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, like, that would have been like they 2 best chances. I could have seen them retiring if they lost. I've seen it. Because it would have hurt a lot more the second time around. Because this team was on paper way better than the first one. But yeah, getting back to Aaron Donald. After this Super Bowl victory, this all-time lineman, what do you guys feel ranks amongst like the defensive greats in the NFL?
I think he's right up in there. I mean, I have to put him in the same conversation as like LT and Reggie White. I'm not gonna commit to saying he's better than those two because
no,
yeah. But he firmly belongs in the conversation. I mean, he's the most dominant defensive lineman of this generation, and it's not too close, in my opinion. And the fact that he's doing it from an interior position, I mean, that's really unprecedented. Besides what Reggie White.
Reggie White played a little bit of DT.
So it's just like I mean, I have to acknowledge the greatness. I mean, you're getting 10+ sacks almost every year. You're getting double teamed. You're still making an impact, and it's just like he's literally unblockable. You cannot block him. He dictated the entire Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, he really did. He dictated the entire game, and it's like the Bengals had 2 weeks to game plan for this person who was going to wreck their game plan, and they couldn't do it. Think about that. They couldn't. We had 2 weeks. Granted, yes, our offensive line is bad, but we had 2 weeks, and there was nothing we could do. We gave it our best shot, and it didn't work. We tried for 2 weeks to figure something out. It didn't work. So I mean, he's one of the best. He's a pantheon great. When you mention LT, Reggie White, you have to mention Aaron Donald in that conversation. And the Super Bowl just puts the icing on the cake. Especially in the fashion that the Rams wanted, with him being, a large reason as to why and being on the forefront.
I'm about to say being the forefront for the closing out of the possession.
And making plays. Just stopping the run, getting sacks, getting the pressures, creating other opportunities for his other teammates. Man.
Oh yeah, he's top 3, no doubt. I couldn't put him at this point. I can't put him above LT or Reggie.
But I won't be mad if somebody did. I'm not gonna do it, but I wouldn't be mad. It's just that LT won Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. I mean, come on. I mean,
It's not that many that can say that they've done that. So
no, it was almost one more this year that was on his way.
Yeah, Micah Parsons,
yeah, and he didn't do it. And but think about how great he was playing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, but he's one of the best, man. One of the best. And I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting, like his stature. You know what I mean? Like obviously, like he's a big dude, but he's not a very tall guy. His arms aren't that long. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting to see like how dominant he is when you stand him next to like other linemen or even other defensive linemen. Like he's not. He doesn't stand out that much, if that makes sense.
Because there's a bunch of 6'6", 6'7", 280 defensive tackles that are supposed to do what he's doing, but just can't.
Exactly.
And he's 6'3", kind of stocky, closing holes. It's certain things you just can't really
can't teach.
Yeah, this is certain things that's in him. I mean, me personally, I feel like I don't think he'll be able to pass LT, because LT was on a different level of dominance. But by the time he retires, he'll be 2. He'll be 2 by the time he retires.
Hey, I don't know, man. Reggie White is Reggie White is Reggie White. In the conversation though, that by itself is
that already says a lot.
An amazing, yes, and it's such an amazing feat.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go wrong with Aaron Donald over Reggie White.
All right. Back into NBA, as most of you know, the trade deadline has come and gone. A lot of the moves were tracked and discussed by yours truly in the last episode. You can go to the page and find that John right there. But we can do like a mini recap as far as the players that were moved during the deadline. What do you guys think is having most significant impact on his team right now?
Oof.
I would have to say, so far, Sabonis and Seth Curry. Now, I don't know if the pod people know this or not. You guys know this. I love me some Seth Curry.
Yes.
I love me some Seth Curry. Seth Curry is one of my favorite players in the league. Kind of crazy, but that's just what it is.
bucket.
He's a bona fide bucket. His bucket getting is so underrated. Well, I'm gonna go to Sabonis first though before I get to him. Just Sabonis. I mean, we already know Sabonis is an all-star. He's a big that I think he can finish. Has skill on both hands. Can shoot from the mid range. Can extend the three a little bit at times. Definitely can pass. He can function as a cog in your offense per se. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's like a Jokic or anything like that, but like you can definitely move an offense through him. You can run sets with him as that main facilitator at times. Like he's a very productive offensive center, and he's not just a slouch on defense either. So you pair that with someone who like De'Aaron Fox, who's a dynamic point guard, who needs that other star potential player with him. And I've liked what I've seen from them. I mean, as soon as he got there, I think they won what 3 games straight.
I believe
2 or 3 games straight. As soon as he dropped down. So I mean, you can tell like it was an immediate impact. So I like that for them. It just adds another element to their team as far as like an elite star. That's what they need. That's what they've been trying to get with De'Aaron. You know what I mean? They tried it with Marvin for a multitude of different reasons. Also at a fault of their own. It didn't work with him. They tried it with Tyrese. Could have worked. They weren't. They didn't want to be as patient enough to see if it would work. So they pulled the trigger, got Sabonis. Not mad at it. So there it is. Seth Curry. I mean, he's just a bucket. I think his first game there was no Kyrie. Obviously, James was getting traded, and KD still hurt. He came out 23 points and a dub. I think he took 19 shots. I don't know this for facts, but I feel like that's probably his high, the season high in shots taken. He doesn't take a lot. That was my biggest issue with him in Philly is that he just doesn't take a lot of shots. And it's just like, bro, if you just shoot more, your team will be better. You'll have better stats. And that worked. Like, bro, shooting like 50, 40, 89. Like, bro, just shoot more shots. It doesn't make any sense to me how somebody like a Seth Curry playing on a team with like a Joel Embiid is only taking 8 shots. It doesn't make sense because like
he's a modest player.
He is, but to a fault because I think coming into he didn't get the obviously he didn't get the attention that Steph got, and even when Steph came into the league, he had a lot of doubters, but he got a lot more attention than Seth, and rightfully so with the Davidson run and things like that. But like Seth went to Duke, you know what I mean? Like he played well in college. He just for some reason, I don't know, he just wasn't afforded, in my opinion, the same things that Steph got. And I think mainly in part probably because he was Steph's brother and he wasn't as good as Steph in college. Maybe that's a reason why, but it's just like, coming into the league, he hasn't gotten more athletic, I wouldn't say. I mean, he's refined his skill, but like the shooting has always been there. Now he's a lot better at getting his own shot on his own, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like if he was groomed to be a volume scorer or a volume shooter, he could have been. Like, I believe Steph Curry could easily be an all-star in this league if he just puts the shots up. Because the shots go in. I mean, that's just facts. He shoots a high percentage of his shots. I mean, we all know that. And it's just like,
and he rocking the 30 in Brooklyn, though.
Yeah.
Rocking the 30.
Wait, say that again?
He's rocking the number 30 in Brooklyn after that first game.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
For real, yeah.
It's kind of wild to me. I'm like, wow, he put on the 30 and start going stupid.
I mean, listen, he's like that. He just has to put the shots up. And on this team, I don't see why he would. Yeah, I don't see why he's not putting up the third most shots on the team. Honestly, with Kyrie, KD, him, and Ben, and then with Patty coming off the bench and LaMarcus probably maybe starting to come off the bench. I don't know, but like he's the best. He's probably the.
Probably the more consistent. He's probably
he's in the conversation for best shooter on the team. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not just gonna say he's better than the other two, but like he's known for shooting straight up more than those two are, if that makes sense.
Mm.
But yeah, there's no reason why he can't put up great numbers on the team. He's gonna have opportunities and he can create his own shot. He's gonna be getting one-on-one coverage. He's not, like he's not gonna be getting a lot of attention. He'll probably get less attention here than he did in Philly, honestly. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be cooking everybody coming his way.
It opens it up for Joe. I mean, if Joe could come off the bench, less pressure for him. Maybe he gets back to his form a little bit as far as like how he used to shoot the ball. Joe was Joe was drowning out a little bit. The injury had made
Joe wasn't making shots.
Yeah. Maybe if Joe come off the bench and watch Seth, light up the Barclays Center, maybe it'll remind him of what he used to be.
Right. Come on over here, Joe, and watch a real shooter shoot. You know what I'm saying? That's disrespectful. I'm gonna take that back. But anyway,
might have a shooting battle. Who knows? G, who you got in your opinion?
It's tough. I mean, I know they aren't winning, and they haven't won since the trade happened, but I mean, who I think has looked the best since the deadline? No, it's not Derek White, so don't sell me.
You must have not watched Seth Curry because that's the only true answer. But go ahead.
No,
You must have not watched.
What are you laughing at?
I would have thought you had Derek White. Honestly, I wouldn't have faulted you for Derek White.
No, nah. I mean, he's definitely given a. He's definitely. I'm not going to say White hasn't transitioned in with the team. He's played with some of the guys before, so still not shooting very well, but he's playing hard, playing defense. Things were running smooth. The win streak is over, but I've seen what Halliburton's done since he's gotten to Indiana, and I think he's been the best of the bunch to this point.
Hold on, you what?
What?
You was supposed to say you love it.
All right, you see, you're selling me. You thought I was going to homer pick, and now you're trying to get me to.
Hey, I just would throw out your catchphrase, man. You was halfway there.
I mean, just look at the last few games. I mean, 22, 22, 16 assists, 5 rebounds, 17 and 8, 19, 14 and 5. It's a bad team, but he looks really good, as we all suspected he would. I like that new backcourt. They've got something with him. I think he's going to really be a special player in this league, an all-star. Just seeing what I've seen, I think he's been the best traded player to this point. Sabonis probably. I know Sacramento's, Sacramento, but I do like the hell. I do like, and Sabonis hasn't necessarily put up Sabonis numbers yet, but I like the pairing with him and Fox, and I think they'll be really good. They could be end up. I know what they did it for. They want to try to make the play-in, maybe even the playoffs. Play-in's probably more likely than a playoff, but I gotta go with Halliburton.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah, I can see that from a long-term stance too. Like, the Pacers in a rebuild state. Need to find you a guard of the future, and it might be Halliburton. It's looking like it could be Halliburton at this point.
I mean, he's doing what he should be doing. He's giving you buckets too. I mean, yeah.
Man, doing what he was doing as a Cyclone. But I mean, I was gonna say him honestly, more or less as well, just because like I just said now, like mainly just from a long term perspective, I just like the fit. Duarte can develop alongside him, and they get a pretty decent draft pick. Not sure how high they'll be because by the end of the season they'll probably get rolling. Not playing worthy, but they'll probably get rolling by the end of the season once everybody's back, or at least like Brogdon and Warren. So, but I'll go with McCollum more or less for the Pelicans because I feel like he's doing a lot more for the Pelicans. Like he's rebounding, his dots back up. You know what I'm saying? Mainly just the fact that we're gonna have Zion back at some point this season, and they still have Brandon Ingram. That could
Zion. Just side note, Zion may need a second surgery.
foot again.
That may not happen. More than likely, that won't happen.
Dang. But I mean, well, I can still see it though. I mean, they won't get him back. Potentially, they won't get him back. Bi, McCollum. I'm not sure if J-Val's been putting up the numbers he was early in the season, but I mean, J-Val's a good center. But
yeah, yes.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, that team could definitely sneak in for a play-in once they really like used to running with each other. And adding a guy like McCollum to that team, just can't go wrong with it. It's a guy that gets in there, run your offense, can get you buckets. Not really gonna defend that much, but I mean, they got a bunch of perimeter defenders over there that they could like swap and be interchangeable with for the most part. But another long-term thing, just liking how he fits with that team so far. But in the season, they could be a playing.
I think it's really just like the diversity of the team. I mean, he was with the Trailblazers for so long, where like the team engine is those two, like those two guards. They didn't have any like really dependable wing scorers, even after they got Norman Powell was good, but like he's not on Brandon Ingram's level. You know what I mean? Like it's just I feel like it's just a different dynamic to the Pelicans team that allows him to be able to do different things than than when he was in the Trailblazers jersey. So
yeah, plus it's like a really high infusion of youth too, because I'm sure he's now like one of him and Valor are like the oldest players on the team right now. So
more than likely, yeah.
So it's like he's playing with like Devontae Graham, Ingram. You got Herb off the bench. Murphy, like there's a lot of like youth around them that also could rejuvenate him a little bit more to propel him to do more of those things like crash the glass, look for dudes on the break. So he already did look for people on the break, but at a higher level, possibly some more options for him.
That's for sure.
It should be an interesting rest of the season. Pelicans.
Yeah, they definitely need. I mean, obviously going forward, though, they definitely need Zion. But I don't know. Listen. Hey, I'm about one injury away from being on the trade Zion train. You laugh. I'm very serious.
I can understand it
because it's more so. It's like I've seen Brandon Ingram be able to be a number one option on a competitive team. Like I'm really getting to the point where it's like, okay, let's build around the guy who's here, who has shown us that he can be an all-star talent. And it's just like he had his best year, then they drafted Zion, and then it's just like, okay, we're gonna go away from you. Like what? Like I just was averaging 26 points a game on good percentages. You know what I mean? Like now you're just gonna go away from me because this really marketable guy is here now. I mean, like he can't even stay on the court. So I
don't disagree with you.
Yeah, and then it's just like, I mean, his stock is going to be high. So I mean, maybe you sell it. Maybe you build around Brandon.
I mean, if they were to move him, and it's like try to find a power forward, obviously to replace his spot. Cullum, Bi, and whoever you trade for in return, that could also still be suitable. That team is like looking so far because, like you said, Zion being on the court, he really did just like
he's not an easy fit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like they
like
keyed in on him and gave all the attention to him instead of Bi, where he kind of was confused as to where do I rank? Like he falls second fiddle to some
and,
guys that didn't even shoot that much.
and granted, Van Gundy didn't know what the hell he was doing offensively, in my opinion.
It was a horrible
Like,
signing. I don't know why they even wanted
but
to
it-
do that.
But it's just like, I mean, if you're gonna have Zion, it seems simple. If you're gonna have Zion running a point forward type of position, then have Bi be like the closer and the perimeter, the wing scorer, because that's what he's able to do. But it still wasn't a perfect fit. And then obviously Zion defensively is such an odd fit because I mean he's not going to be any type of rim protector. He's not at this point in his career. He's not even like a cog defensively because his fundamentals are just so bad defensively. Like
He's just
he
big
does not
right
slide
now,
his feet.
more or less.
He just he jump stops to everywhere. He does not slide his feet. So I mean he'll make an explosive play every now and again, but like he doesn't do the little things right. So like it leads to a lot of easy buckets, back cuts, blow bys, things like that. Because he just fundamentally he's just not there.
Yeah.
And it's probably because I mean I don't know who taught fella how to move, but y'all seen him walk. It's not really even an insult. It's just like that movement is just like not conducive to like
kind of
sliding.
Walks with a
wobble.
It's like I didn't want to say waddle because I feel like that's messed up. But like I mean, he got a side to side movement with him. It's not something that should be going on, going down the court because it distracts you. Like say he catches a body, you just see him running out on the court. It's like the dunk's intimidation factor just drops to like 7. Just because how he's finishing off the play by running up, like by walking up the court, like it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Man, but yeah, man. I mean,
I think some people were saying like Zion and Ja could be getting into Greg Oden, KD territory.
I ain't gonna go that far just because we've seen him play. He was on the court for a great season. I mean, he was hooping. And when Greg Oden was when he was playing, he was just good. He wasn't a bust. He was good. He might have turned into something great. But when Zion played that year, he was great. I can't even cap that. But I mean, shit, Ja's there. Listen. It was the first season. I was like, hey, Ja looked like he better than Zion, and everybody was like, and I was like, okay, right. I'm looking at this guy who looks like Gilbert Francis Westbrook, but you're gonna tell me that
okay. All right.
Gilbert Francis Westbrook.
He has the athleticism of a Russell Westbrook. He has the swagger of Stephon Marbury, Baron Davis. He has the intensity of like a Steve Francis. He's always on your neck like a AI or like a Gilbert Arenas. Like he takes the attack to you. And obviously like, he has like great passing vision. Sometimes I wish he would dive into that a little bit more. But I mean, if he's making all these shots, then keep being aggressive with it. So, and then obviously he has the size of like a Russell. Like all those other guys that I named, like Gilbert, Barron, like they were smaller. Like Russell's like 6'4". Ja's like 6'3", 6'4". Like he's got that good size on him too. So
yeah, probably closer to 6'4" with shoes
man.
on, probably.
Yeah, so he's not small. And then it's just I don't know. He has his room to grow. To me, is so much more clear cut and simple. Work on your perimeter jump shot. Maybe develop a post game. Or a more refined post game, because he'll be able to post up most point guards because he's just going to be bigger than them. That's just facts.
Yeah,
he'll be able to post most of them up. And then even if he's not bigger than them, he might end up being stronger than a lot of them anyway. So it's just like there's that. But then it's like with Zion, it's like, okay, your offensive game is like so unrefined right now, and you're going to be rehabbing for the next. He's probably going to be rehabbing for the next year. Like honestly, that's just how that's going to go. Like he's going to have to rehab and not have any setbacks. So, and then he'll be able to get to work on his game. And it's like, you're going to have to fix that perimeter jump shot. It's a set shot. It's way too slow. You're gonna have to get a post game, like you know what I mean. Like you're gonna have to develop other traits because he's not a big player as far as height wise, and his whole game is predicated on athleticism. You know what I mean? So don't let the athleticism like start getting zapped because he'll have nothing to fall back on.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I see him kind of like, and G could probably attest to it. Like remember when Taco Fall first got to Boston? It was just kind of like they marveled at like he's like 7'6" or he's like 7'5", long arms.
He didn't play.
Like as far as like
Yeah.
the spurts that he had, 'cause he came out there like in garbage time a few times. I think. I remember.
Yeah, he'll come out there like 5 minutes a game, and he'll have a block in there and everything. But it's just like they knew from in practice. It's like bro he doesn't have that lateral movement to where like to affect the game how you want the center to affect it, and they're gonna attack him and pick and roll like all day, every day.
Yeah, it's like that's what it reminds me with Zion. Because like the first game, it was like he was doing like real simple things, like he shot a 3, crowd erupted, he kicked the ball, like the minor things that obviously like he should be able to do because of either fundamentals in basketball or just the fact that he's young with like the bounce that he has. Like they kind of blew it out of proportion, which also kind of takes away the factor of like how good he'll be when he comes back from this foot injury, because foot injuries aren't no joke. No less.
Yeah, but I also want to give him. I know I've been talking to him, but I also want to give him some respect now. We talking about Taco Fall, we talking about Zion Williamson. They're not really close. Zion when he was playing was an elite player.
He's a way bigger part of the team than Taco was at that time.
I mean, he's elite. He's an elite player. That's just what he was playing and healthy. He's elite right now. I don't think there's a debate about that. But it's just like I have concerns going forward, obviously because of like you said, foot injuries are no joke, and right now it's clear to see that he's not taking the best care of his body. Because I mean, we saw him put on more weight. It can't be the best thing for your body when you're rehabbing a foot injury. It can't be. So
plus having to get more shots kind of just means that either he's stressing it out or still a lot of weight.
Man, and it's just like having a setback. It does not help, especially when we all had like doubts about his body going forward. 6'7", being 290, over 300 pounds now. It's just like, bro, like you're playing a sport where you're jumping up and down on hardwood. Like knees, I couldn't see how it was gonna work. And right now, there are issues. So, as opposed to a guy who's playing like an MVP. To be quite frank.
Yeah. He is.
Yes, he is.
Hello, everybody. This is PTP talking right now. We lost a few minutes of footage that I didn't realize until I started editing. But just to sum up what was at the end of the episode, I wanted to thank you guys for listening to the episodes. It's going to be a slow process of building this up. I'll say building it back up, but of building this up. But we're enjoying the ride, and we appreciate you guys for listening along with us. You can follow Chris Collins at Chris D. Collins on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow G at Tony the Real on Twitter. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at PTP_99. A little bit of late getting it out too, actually. But it's been a crazy snowstorm over the past 7 hours. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy your weekend, enjoy the All-Star game, and we'll see you guys next week.